Welcome to the third lecture of week 9 of plant maintenance MB 420 selective course. In the last two lectures, we started the maintenance of pump, in which we first of all discussed the types of pumps, and positive displacement pump, centrifugal pump, basic components of centrifugal pump. Then we started the installation of centrifugal pump. In the last slides, we discussed about the alignment, mounting, field alignment, grouting, and piping system, and also the centrifugal pump example. Now, in today's lecture, we will go through first of all, we go through the videos of pump installation. Then we will proceed around the maintenance of pump.
Installation and Operation Manual for Horizontal End Suction Centrifugal Pumps. This manual contains instructions for the installation, operation, and maintenance of the horizontal end suction centrifugal pumps. Welcome to the General Video Reference and Guide. Please.
This is a general video reference and guide, general video, not specific to any of the pump model. This is basically motor side, this is the motor connection, this is the coupling, this is the pump side, this is the common base frame, or you can say pump skid.
Please read the product manual before installing the machine.
As I have already told that first of all you have to look at the manual. Manual clarify all the things related to installation.
Get knowledge of the pump works and how to install it. This is a brief overview and demonstration of the entire process covering the key points. Installation. Before installing the pump, ensure that the foundation on which the pump will be installed is prepared well. It has to be sufficient enough to take the weight of the pump and absorb any possible vibrations from it. The foundation has to be absolutely straight without any
as I told in the last slides that foundation should be level.
inclination. The foundation bolt of proper size should be embedded in the concrete and base plate.
This is the foundation, this is the base plate or frame of the pump.
Piping associated with the pump must be supported independently of the pump and should never put any strain on the pump casing. When the pipes are not supported, their weight is covered by the pump casing, and this situation may cause cracks on the pump casing. It's important that the connections are aligned axially, angularly, and in length carefully. Suction line, negative suction. The piping and the connection fittings should be properly aligned and supported separately. The elbow should be of long radius type.
There are two types of suction: negative suction, positive. Negative suction is due to the when we are taking suction from a underground tank, and positive suction in the next slides or next video slide you will see that from a tank or from a higher head.
All suction piping must be airtight. The suction pipe should be sized to ensure the liquid velocity of not more than 2 meters per second. The suction pipe's size should be at least one commercial size larger than the pump inlet. All suction pipes should have a continuous rise to the pump suction inlet. 6 mm to 100 mm slope is recommended. No isolation valve is recommended. There should be a pressure tapping provided for installing a vacuum gauge in the suction line.
As I have told that there must be two pressure gauges, one on the suction side, one on the discharge side. This will help a lot about the pump. Sometimes the pump is taking suction but not discharging, so the pressure gauge will indicate that whether the pump is taking suction or not.
Reducer joining the straight length of the pipe in the pump line should be an eccentric reducer with the inclined side of the reducer as the bottom side. The straight length of the pipe after the eccentric reducer should be 2 times the pipe diameter. The suction strainer must be at least 4 times the suction pipe area.
Suction strainer is installed on the suction side so that no debris, no outside material, particles, cloth, etc. can go into the pump.
And the mesh size should screen out solid particles that would clog the impeller. The minimum depth of submergence of the strainer should be at least 3 times the pipe diameter measured from the upper row of holes strainer.
No.
strainer, and the floor of the tank should be 2 times the pipe diameter. Suction line. Positive suction. In case the water is being supplied to the suction through gravity, a slightly different setup is slope is recommended.
In this in the negative suction case, one thing should be pointed out that why there is recommended that no isolation valve should be on the suction side, because there is no need of isolation valve in this case, because if we have to do the maintenance, or we just close the valve on the discharge side and open the line, when can we do not we can do easily maintenance, because on the product the water normally or the other product will go into the underground tank. But in case of
At least 4 times the minimum depth of submergence of the strainer should be at least. Suction line. Positive suction. In case the water is being supplied.
this is the tank, this is the strainer, this is because of positive suction. Tank, there is strainer, so that any particles will filter out by the strainer. Then we have isolation valve, because we have to do the maintenance of pump, so we can close the discharge valve and we close the suction side valve. Strainer is very necessary so that pump will not damage. We have pressure gauge on suction and discharge side. These are the supports. Now this is the pump, this is the motor. Now one thing is to what is this piece and what is this piece. These are expansion bellows, normally installed in the industry to absorb any vibration. See, also they look at this portion. Before the isolation valve we have NRV. NRV is non-return valve, so that the product which is pumped by the pump will not come back in case of failure of the pump.
To the suction through gravity, a slightly different setup is needed. The elbow should be standard type or long radius type. Isolation valve should be provided in suction line. The pipe from the tank to the pump should have a descending inclination. The straight length of pipe between the pump inlet and tank should be at least 3 to 6 times the pipe diameter. The suction pipe should be sized to ensure the max liquid velocity of 3 meters per second. There should be a pressure tapping provided for installing a vacuum gauge in the suction line. The reducer joining the straight length of the pipe in the pump line should be an eccentric reducer with the incline, the side of the reducer, as the top side. Discharge line. There should be a pressure tapping as close to the pump outlet and before the isolation valve as possible to measure the pump shutoff head.
Also, what is the pump shutoff head? Shutoff head will be seen in the video. Shutoff head has the head. Shutoff head is the head when the discharge valve of the pump is closed. This will help in measuring the pump performance.
Concentric reducer is installed in the discharge side to minimize the friction losses. To prevent reverse flow and protect the pump from hydraulic shocks, check valve has to be used in discharge line. The isolation valve is provided downstream of the check valve so that these can be taken up for maintenance, priming, and starting whenever required. Discharge pipe size should be at least 1 commercial size larger than the opening of the pump outlet. The number of fittings and size changes should be minimized to prevent fluid friction losses. Expansion joint may be used only after a careful piping analysis, especially when the discharge pressure are on the higher side. Installation of pump and prime mover. The pump unit needs to be fitted with using nuts and bolts before fitting in any pipes. The pump and the motor are aligned to the final tolerance using a reverse dial gauge or laser alignment tool. After the alignment is completed, the piping connected with the pump should be built. Once this is completed, the alignment of coupling should be rechecked. Then the alignment of all piping and fittings should be rechecked and suitable corrections should be made.
As there we have a pump inspection, there we have also a pipeline inspection methodology used in industrial industries for different type of UT gauging, which means thickness of pipe, ultrasonic thickness gauging. Different techniques are used for the inspection of pipe.
The motor should be wired correctly to ensure the correct direction of rotation. When the pump and motor have been coupled, movement of the shafts should be controlled manually by hand to see if it is rotating smoothly. Pre-operational checks. After checking alignment of coupling, assemble the coupling guard and tighten the bolts. Ensure that the pump suction valve is fully open and all joints are checked for any leakage. The discharge valve should be kept closed to prevent overloading the prime mover. For further information, you can email your question.
Now we will see the another video related to the installation of pump. Some more things added in this game.
Installation centrifugal pump maintenance. Centrifugal pumps should.
These are the pipe supports. This is the horizontal split casing pump. One is the vertical split casing pump, the other one is the horizontal split casing pump.
Operate satisfactorily for a long period of time. The axially split casing design allows removal of the impeller and bearing housing assembly without disturbing suction and discharge piping. Storage and protection. All pumps are shop tested and ready for operation when delivered. If equipment is to be stored for
The pumps are normally tested at the factory side, because especially when you are procuring from outside the Pakistan or outside the country, it will have. But commissioning is recommended in front of in front of the vendor which has provided the pump, or he will nominate any third party company, or he will nominate his local authorized dealer for the commissioning of the pump.
long periods of time, 6 months or more, should be kept in a clean, dry area, and the following precautions should be taken to ensure that the equipment remains in good condition. Be sure that the bearings are fully lubricated. The shaft should be rotated 10 to 15 revolutions by hand periodically in order to spread the lubricant over all the bearing surfaces. Suitable intervals are from 1 to 3 months. Installation. The pump should be located as close as possible to the liquid supply so that the suction line is short and direct. Location should require a minimum of elbows and fittings in the discharge.
It is common practice that to minimize the elbow and fitting, to minimize the friction losses, also to minimize the pressure
Line. Before installing the pump, ensure that the foundation on which the pump will be placed is prepared well. It has to be sufficiently substantial enough to take the weight of smoothly straight without any impede, and base plate tightened, ensuring that it is level in all directions. Piping associated with the pump must be anchored and supported independently of the pump and should never put any strains them to crack or Suction piping in case of the elbow should be of long radius type. The liquid velocity of the suction pipe size should be each in suction line. The reducer joining this be 2 times of solid particles that could clog the
strainer or footwell. It is footwell normally installed in this type of condition. Footwell is a type of check valve or non-return valve which ensures that the suction line always remain filled, so that there is no issue of priming.
Color. The minimum depth of the distance between a stream of liquid directly to the pump's suction nozzle. The disturbance in the flow caused branch header should never be used. Suction piping in case of flooded tank. A slightly different setup. The pipe supplying from upstream elbow for installing a prepping box seal connections are usually made from the top of the pump casing. If the liquid being pumped is unsuitable for sealing, then it is preferable to bring
stuffing box, as I've shown in the presentation. That stuffing box, there is a cooling system for the stuffing box. So if there is the liquid which is pump by the pump is not sufficient to cool the stuffing balls, then the separate line is added.
Fresh, cool water to seal connections from an outside source. Centrifugal separators or other filters may be used to remove abrasive particles from the liquid being pumped if an outside source is not available. Description of the discharge pipe. The piping run and the connection fittings should be properly aligned and supported separately, reduce strain on the pump casing. There should be a pressure tapping as close to the pump outlet and before the isolation valve as possible to measure the pump shutoff head. Concentric reducers are installed in the discharge pipe to minimize friction losses. The check valve used in the discharge should be of non-slam type to prevent reverse flow and protects the pump from excessive back pressure. The isolation valve is provided downstream of the check valve so that these can be taken up for maintenance, priming and starting whenever required. The recommended discharge pipe size should be at least one commercial size larger than the opening of the pump outlet. The number of fittings and size changes should be minimum to prevent fluid friction. Installation of pump and prime mover. The pump and motor unit needs to be fitted firmly onto the base frame using nuts and bolts before fitting in any pipes. It is essential to confirm the distance between the shaft ends. In the subsequent step, the pump and motor being associated with pump should be bolted. Once this is completed, the alignment should be rear. Once the pump and motor have operation. Before bolting the coupling halves together, check the drive rotation to see that it matches the pump rotation. Starting. When possible, turn the pump shaft by hand to ensure that the parts do not bind. Check the bearing lubricant. Open the valve in the pump suction line if fitted. Close discharge valve. Prime the pump. Open valves in stuffing box seal lines if fitted. Start driver. Open discharge valve slowly when the pump is up to speed. Adjust the packing gland until there is a slight leakage from the stuffing box. Mechanical seals need no adjustment. There should be no leakage. Shut down. The pump may be stopped with the discharge valve open without causing damage. However, in order to prevent water hammer effects, the discharge valve should be closed first. Close discharge valve. Stop driver. Close water seal valves. Close valve in the pump suction line if fitted. If danger of freezing exists, drain the pump completely. For further information, you can.
This is the video of also the pump. Now we will start about the maintenance of the pump. The maintenance of a pump. The maintenance of the pump. First of all, the main thing to keep in mind the maintenance of the pump, the crew or the technical staff must be well trained. The staff must be well trained, because if you have a staff not well trained and if you don't have the proper tools, operating instructions, operating and manual maintenance manual, how to do maintenance of that pump, trained staff and right tools. This will be good for maintenance. But if you don't have the good maintenance team and you have the best tools, then it will not help, or vice versa. So the best instruction for how to maintain a pump is to simply follow the manual that was received with the pump. As with any other piece of machinery, preventive maintenance is a wise investment, since many pumps are on mission critical applications where downtime can be very detrimental and expensive in downtime and lost production. Now take an example of the pump of Parco. Normally Parco have 4 pumps, 2 are which on standby, 2 are in operation. Let's say if the 2 pumps on standby are faulty or not installed, and there are only 2 pumps, and the 2 out of 2 pump, 1 pump fails, so what will happen? Similarly, if the Dhameji pump is normally if the pump fails, then the supply of water to Karachi will be at halt. Or taken any example, boiler feed water pump. If we have 2 pumps, one is operation and the other one is a standby, and the pump which is in operation all of a sudden fails, then the standby pump has to be started. But when you try to start the standby pump not start, because you have not done maintenance of that pump, you have not checked the bearing lubricant for the long time. So downtime is very critical. So critical equipment needs special maintenance strategies. Now, bearing lubricant pumps comes with a wide variety of methods to keep bearing lubricated. Follow the pump manufacturer recommendations on how often to add grease and the type of grease to be used. Lubricant, type of lubricant, quality of lubricant, quantity of lubricant. It is written in the manual that what type of lubricant to be used, what is the quantity. Because if you want to increase the life of the asset, life of the equipment, then you have to follow the instruction. Quality and quantity of the lubricant should be added as per manual. Sometimes you have the lubricant, oil or grease recommended by the manufacturer is not prepared or manufactured by the oil company, so you have to manufacture the oil on special basis. It means you have to give specification to the lubricant companies or grease company, so that a lubricant as per your requirement can be prepared. Now, maintenance failure mode. One is hydraulic failure mode. In hydraulic failure mode, we have cavitation, pressure fluctuation, pump recirculation, radial and axial. Cavitation, you better know. The fluid may has to have studies. Net positive suction rate available, net positive per suction rate required. Pressure fluctuation, if on the demand side or suction side, especially on the demand side, there is pressure fluctuation, then this is the hydraulic failure. Especially when we don't have the bypass valve installed, then all of a sudden if we are pumping the water to the oil tanker, to the water tanker, and all of a sudden 4 of the discharge valve closes, then there will be a backup pressure on the pumps. And especially when the check valve is not installed, or if the check valve is already installed, so but there will be a major impact on the pump. Pump recirculation, sometimes the pump is not pumping the fluid, it is only recirculating all around the impeller. Or radial and axial thrust. Mechanical failure mode includes shaft seizure of brake, shaft means seized due to bearing issue, lack of lubrication, seal damage or back pressure, bearing failure due to lack of lubrication, proper alignment, not proper alignment, shaft seizure or brake due to not proper alignment of the shaft. Now, there are all lot of bearing failure due to lack of lubrication, seal failure, or sometimes the shaft material is not as per requirement. You require the SS shaft and you have purchased MS shaft. Bearing failure, the bearing quality is not per specification, or the bearing material is not compatible with the working fluid or with the atmosphere. Seal failure, type of seal utilized, vibrations, fatigue. Other failure mode includes erosion and corrosion, so you have to keep in all the things After some time you have to do maintenance of the pump, painting of the pump as well, especially when in the saline environment, just like Kotka, Same, Hub, or Kimadi. Normally the painting on the pump is by spray painting. So we have to vibration should be within the limit. Vibration should be checked with the vibra pen. Temperature of the pump motor side should be checked with the thermograph gun. Now routine checkup include check the level of in the condition of the oil through sight glass on the bearing frame. As in the previous 7 or 8 slides earlier, I have shown that this is the bearing side glass. Okay, bearing side glass. Now the oil should be as per manufacturer recommendation, and the quantity of oil should be as per manufacturer recommendation. Not filling the oil at the top is not necessary. The level should be maintained. Check for unusual vibration, bearing temperature using thermograph gun, noise and vibration. These should be all in the limit if as per the manufacturer recommendation, or if the pump is old, so you must have a historical record or trend. Check the pump and piping for leaks. If there is any leakage, any significant leakage, so you must take into account of that, whether the pump and piping required welding or some joint. Analyze the vibration and this is necessary. Inspect the discharge pressure. If the discharge pressure is as per requirement or not. Inspect the temperature. Ensure that area there are no leaks from the mechanical seal, as shown in the video. Adjust or replace the packing in the stuff if you know it. If there is excessive leakage, then the packing in the pump box need to be replaced. These are the troubleshooting chart which we discussed. In the next lecture we will discuss about the troubleshooting and the pump testing, as well as we will see the 2 or 3 videos related to maintenance, pump maintenance. Also the pump shut-off head and the sensor, where the sensor should be mounted. Pump maintenance, pump shut-off head, and where to be sensors to be mounted. That's all about today's lecture.